EX character mode. Copen. This is just proof. That was just a save file I made just previously, before I decided I was going to stream me doing Tankless. The only time I'm allowed to use the tank is to travel between planets. Because it's physically impossible. Okay. I'm not aiming to speedrun this, by the way. This is just a proof of concept. Oh, hey, someone's watching. That says one watching, but... This is just a proof of concept run to show that you can actually beat the game without even using the tank. Which is funny because Area Omega is designed without the tank in mind. And with this, because of Copen's... This challenge would only really be fully possible with the power of Copen DLC, so... How much was the DLC again?
Hmm?
How much was Copen's DLC again? Like 169 or something?
Something like that.
Just pay Inti creates a total of 169 and you can throw the tank into the trash. Now, I'm not gonna go for damageless, because, frankly, I don't care enough to do that. But we start off with a fight against Mind Might. Yeah, I'm not going Mock Ranchula first. And that's Mind Might dead. Like, originally, I thought this challenge was impossible. Due to the, you know, Planet Stranja, but then I realized you can if you were gonna do it like minimal backtracking, yeah, it's impossible to do it minimal backtracking. So you're gonna have to backtrack a bit just to get some of the stuff. But trust me, it is worth it. In a way. Funny how I say BMZ3 is my favorite. Yeah, I've probably played the first game a lot more than this. And I've also played this, like, a lot. Like, I probably played BMZ1 more times than BMZ2 and 3 combined. So I'm literally going reverse item order on Planet Flosant. Wait. 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. Refill. If anybody wants to see if they can actually speedrun this, feel free. But we get the hover, which, spoiler alert, we're not even going to be using for this entire run. When I said reverse item order, I also meant I'm going back here just to get the map. Like that. Okay, stop. Stop. Now we got another dungeon here. Alright. Like I said, no damage is not my goal here. The only goal is I'm not allowed to use the tank at any point, besides traveling between planets. You have to get off, if I have to get in the tank off of one of... The run's over as soon as I either get forced to use the tank, which involves me using the tank in an area, in a situation other than in a minute on launch pads. I'm only allowed to use the tank on launch pads to move between planets. Outside of that, if I use it in any other way, the challenge is forfeit. The challenge ends as soon as I deal the final blow to Doravo Mastro. Planetoid A1 is quite simple to understand. You just use Stellar Spark to You just use Stellar Spark to break open the crystal field that's holding the planetoid map. Then proceed to wreck Hexabibi, using your very limited arsenal. Now, where this differs from a regular 100% run of this game, I think, I don't really watch runs of this game. I'll get to it in a bit, but... Literally only allowed to use the tank on launch pads. Got 2 planetoid maps. And that's also everything on Planet Flissant. Now we're moving on to Area B. While I'm at it. No challenge so far.
The rare occurrence when Copen takes damage. Trust me, it doesn't happen often.
Most of the challenge in Gunvolt games is when you decide to just turn off Pervasion. Which, by the way, you can't turn off Copen or Gunvolt's Pervasion in the PMZ DLCs. It's a forced thing. Also, props to Copen for being the only one that's actually able to beat the game without the tank.
You need the tank.
No, not using the tank on the planets. Like, it's not, there's no, apart from, like, you don't even need to use any of the tank's other upgrades. Like, you don't need to use the hover. I mean, does this guy look like he needs a hover? Does he look like he needs the recoil jump? Does he look like he needs the burn spark? And I recently found out that he doesn't even need the drill smasher. We got our first dungeon of planet montage. And it's the dungeon with Gombe in it. Now this is the first instance of a dungeon actually being required. Because I can't go straight to the fight against Zavira and just complete the planet that way. No, I need to actually fight Gombe first so that some bamboo will move so I can actually make my way to the the right side mountain. I act like I noticed all this stuff. I need to get one more and it's around in the middle, isn't it? God, I hate this area because I'm just scrambling trying to find this last. I'd make a damn fourth Chaos Emerald joke, but oh, there it is. There's that damn sixth key. Now I gotta fight against Gombe. Watch me, I probably accidentally activated the conditions for wow, 2-cycled. No hit. And then we get the Anchor Nexus from beating this guy instead of getting the rushing attacker. Okay, it's not the rushing attacker, it's the shift up attacker that Jason gets on montage. I'm thinking of the rushing attacker from DMZ3. Dungeon 2. Need I say more? I have a way it's possible to do this. Oh sweet, 3 people are watching. I mainly just decided to do this for, lack of a better term, shits and giggles. I get the recoil jump from Gombe, which I know I said I'm not going to be using the tank, but I'm getting all the upgrades for the tank. Regardless, I'm getting every item in the game, which also includes getting all the tank upgrades. I realized I forgot about the planetoid map located in I mean, if I were going for 0%, like any percent, it'd be possible. It's definitely possible to do any percent tankless, because in any percent, you don't even need to go into the depths of Stranja. Like you just run into Kana, and she's just like, "Oh, by the way, here's the planetoid map. See ya." Like you don't need to do the food fetch quest, the fruit fetch quest.
I hate that.
The fruit.
Completely why life is working. It's just so hateful to watch Stranja. just realised that for a minute. Well, my reason for hating it is because of the fact it gives me an eye aching.
It's eye straining.
What?
I don't know, I'm kind of indifferent on it. My personal favorite, like, sure it seemed boring, but my personal favorite is actually, my favorite planet is this one. I don't know, I'm just a fan of blue-haired guys. Why do you think I like Gonbei and Kane so much?
Like what?
Like, I also really like Bamboo Bladed Mountains, the theme that plays for Planet Montage.
Everybody gangster until we bring up the boss in the area now.
Okay, Zavira is perfectly alright. Literally the low point of the entire area is Gavavira, which I have gone on record to saying is one of my least favorite bosses in this game. Thinking about it logically, yeah, good point. Probably my favorite area is actually the, to be honest, I don't even know if I have a favorite area. My least favorite area in this game is Divido.
I don't know, I quite like that area.
Also, just a reminder, you can access a completely unknown square. Because you're not supposed to get there as Jason. I'm completely nowhere on the map. I'm actually above the dungeon, located on the right. Like that. There's a secret square you can't access in main game, and they never accounted for Copen reaching it.
What?
Then again, I guess the DLC characters are more of an afterthought. I mean, they do have thought put into them. I mean, BMZ2's DLC has a lot more thought put into them than BMZ1's, because the only real difference between them is the gameplay style, and that's about it. You control the same exact tank. You only get one unique upgrade for each character. With 3 of them are in the exact same place for each, for 3 of them. Those being the Ultimate Shovel Blade for Shovel Knight. Oh, scratch that. Shovel Knight does get a couple of upgrades. The Gold Mail and the Blaster Master Mail. But, apart from that, I mean, Akaro doesn't get anything apart from the Doki Doki mode. Yes, that's its name. Make all your Monica jokes. But, yeah. Oh, yeah. But then there's also the case of... Hold up. Planetoid map. C1. Shantae gets the Mother Brain form, but she gets that in Area 5 instead of Area 1. So she technically gets it before the others. And then there's Gunvol, who gets Voltaic Chains. By the way, it's completely possible to actually access this as...
I don't know which one I'd prefer. There's the linearity somewhat of the first Blaster Master Zero, and then there's like the sort of non-linearity with this one.
I didn't know about that, honestly. Like, honestly, I always just fly straight up to the top of Gavavira, and I never noticed he actually put spikes up on his leg platforms. So it actually feels like Shadow of the Colossus. Like, I know that's such a weird comparison to make, but...
Oh yeah, Shadow of the Colossus.
And if you can't make your way up there, Gonbei just puts up like bamboo like walls to help you get up. Wow, Zavira head number 1 defeated.
One good feeling of this now is, yeah. When you do beat it after going through all that, it does make you feel quite good.
Yeah. Like, there's no real opportunity to break the game, I guess, and all the characters all basically... Like, they're either not really fit for the kind of game that it is, like, you're supposed to be taking out things from a distance, yeah, you want to get close range with characters like Shovel Knight and Shantae, not really meant for it, like, initially. Sure, like, Shovel Knight might later on get, like, an ability that might help out with that, like... But Shantae doesn't really get that luxury. Like, they can't use their sub-weapons in a side-scrolling environment. They can only use them in top-down, which is why I prefer the DLC of the second BMZ. Because, sure, there's only 2 of them, but at least you can there's actually more to do in the outside of the tank. And there's a lot more, like, you can... I don't know how to say it, like... Sure, like, Empress, I mean... She's close range, but she also does have long range options with her Dragon Breath ability, which I believe she can also use in midair, so she does. But Copen is definitely why I prefer BMZ2's DLC. Like, literally, it blows the rest of BMZ1's out of the water. Given how much mobility this guy has.
Yeah, I know.
Hence this challenge.
If you play it safe, you could actually beat this entire game. That would be
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not trying to go for a no damage run. I just... It is possible. Even just playing as Jason. But... For the sake of this, I'm just proving that it's possible to do a, for lack of a better term, tankless 100% run. It takes a bit longer than a usual 100% run, because you gotta do a bit of backtracking to actually, like... You gotta go to places before you need to. You gotta go to places, like... earlier, when it's like as soon as you get them. Like normally in a 100% run, you just get to go fight Kana and get everything down in the depths of Stranja, and then work your way back around and get Planetoid Map E1. In this case, you got to make 2 visits to Stranja. One to get the Planetoid Map E1, so you can get Planetoid Map B2, so you can get the Rising Cyclone from that, which is the only way you can destroy the tough stone that Drill Smasher can destroy, which I previously thought to be an impossibility. Like, why would a wind-based attack destroy stone? Like, you'd think, with the drill, you'd think it would be something like Anchor Nexus.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just do this way. Extender, which... Like, I'm not allowed to use any of the extra weapons, so you're gonna be seeing me with nothing but the G Crusher Shot and... What's the other weapon called again? Warhead Missile. pretty damn... like, top-down dungeons are literally just, like... Do I even need to say anything about this? Because they're... Like, I'm going to skip over every single top-down dungeon in terms of, like, explaining why this challenge is, well, a challenge, I guess. Because you don't use the tank in a top-down section. It's kind of like Blaster Master 101. Unless you count the remote blast in the first BMZ, but... Like, what's the point? It's basically the same as a casual playthrough. So now we go to Planetoid C1, which is where we get the Auto Cluster, a weapon we're not using, because obvious reasons. Oh. Get the Auto Cluster. Switch back to... Alright. Now we come to... See, no need for Auto Cluster. I even recorded a little bit, like, beforehand of me trying to beat beating a tankless run as, Jason, and I literally couldn't even make it past the first screen. You wanna know why I couldn't make it past the first screen? There are blocks that Jason can't destroy with his blaster rifle. Like, straight up, Jason can't destroy the blocks. He has to get in the tank and use the crusher shot. Literally, his run ends like 15 seconds in. Mighty Mine Might. Not so mighty. He's dead. But not for long. Because you just get an extra bullet for this guy, so now we can do an extra dash and take more damage without taking damage. But now that we're done with this, we need to get access keys for these two-dimensional tunnels. So let's move on to the next main area, Immigration Tip L229. Oh, and right away, barriers can immediately be destroyed by using Copen. You can literally just say, screw you, to defend them all. Because you don't even need to let him attack to break open the barriers. You can just, whoop, bullet dash. Or just dash into him normally, it also works that way as well. But it's much better if you bullet. Like, look at this bit here. You're supposed to... Look, I break that, and he just flies away. Like, I'm supposed to do it like that. This will then take me to here. I love breaking this, just honestly. I have yet to see a tankless playthrough of this game on YouTube, and I just thought to myself, I might as well do it. Did you just see how Defend Them All just despawned? Okay. There's a dungeon nearby. Which I'm going to get on the way back up. Because there is something I need to do here. Okay, correction. I'm getting the first one of these done with now. And it's not the one I was thinking of. But with this one, I can just hold the Stellar Spark open. And I'll just do that. Okay, can't really do anything that way. So, by that logic, we need to go this way. To do that. Oh, and hey! What? Alright, now we come to the best part. Dungeon free! I love how you can just break things. You can just break walls from behind using Stellar Spark. Like, there's literally... It's that broken. Like, you can... There's a way of doing that in certain areas of Jason's campaign. Most notable being that one dungeon where you have to place... You have to knock down platforms in a specific way. Or alternatively, you can do like what I did on the stream and just skip that by just destroying the... By just destroying the block... Speedrun strat. I already have 5 out of the, I think max 6 extra bullets. Now we come to the longest fight in the game, Unknown Cell 46. Well, the longest top-down fight in the game. That is if you don't know about the power of Stellar Spark. Or alternatively... Yeah, Stellar Spark's definitely the answer here. My exact thought process behind this was, like, I remember my Copen stream that I said that it was impossible to do a tankless run. And then I had to look at locations of like planetoid maps and stuff. And Planetoid E1, you don't even need to go into the depths in order to actually acquire it. All you need to do is just explore, like, the little green cavern bit that's just before the, I'm just trying to think of how to describe it. Like, there's a bit of a cavern bit. Now I could theoretically just go and just skip this because... But then again, I need to go and defend them all to get the access key to Area E, which is not that way. It's actually this way. Yeah, Anchor Nexus is definitely advised for this fight. That's a retry. But... I meant to retry, but I mean, I don't think that matters really. I didn't do anything in the tank itself. I just summoned it there for some reason. That doesn't really count. I just... need to touch a save point and then press retry, but... Now that I've got this, I believe that's... yeah, that's everything in ship L229. Smash triangle to get out. So I'm gonna have... the planet. Gonna have to leave Stranja before I finish Stranja. Work that out. Oh hey, here's the really hard part of the Jason playthrough. The really hard platforming section. That Copen just completely trivializes. So now that dungeon's out of the way, we move on to area. We move on to the biggest point in the game where I thought this challenge would be impossible. Planet Stranja. And here's how I'm going to show you that it's actually possible to beat Planet Stranja without even using Drill Smasher. Which something my dumbass thought was an impossibility. And by dumbass, I mean, my dumbass thought it was an impossibility. When in reality, it's actually possible. Now the key is actually this way. Instead of going straight down into the cavern, we're not even going to touch Kana yet. Okay, that sounds so wrong out of context. Then again, isn't the joke only really funny if I realize it's out of context? But if I go into this dungeon right here, from what I saw, it is dungeon 1. And if the dungeon, if this gives me planetoid map E1, I'm good. Because this is the only dungeon we can access at this point in time that does not require us. Yeah, this is planetoid map E1. Now this is our key. Planetoid map E1. Keep that in mind, because before we continue into the planet Stranger itself, we're making a bit of a detour. Like, Inti Creates never... They thought of everything, but they wouldn't really expect anybody to actually be able to beat this game tankless. Like, because no one really cares. Except for me for some reason, because Blaster Master Zero is my freaking lifeblood. So, before we continue, we're gonna make a slight detour back to the launch pad in order to get the rest of this, get the one key that we need for this challenge to work. Planetoid E1. So while we're here, Planetoid E1 can easily be completed without even... Planetoid E1 is a top-down dungeon. Enough said. There's literally nothing to worry about here. Because it's a top-down, I don't need to worry about the way I do this. Now, I'm not going to go out the traditional way because there's something I'm missing in this area, and I believe it's one... So I don't have to come back to this planetoid at any point. Planetoid map B2 is the key. So it's a key. So Planetoid E1 was the key to Planetoid B2, which is the key to the ultimate key needed to complete this game tankless. You'll see why. Head to Area C. Backtrack to Area B to Area B2. And our solution is right here. Can't get it yet. Literally, I could have saved myself from a softlock if I had realized to bring the godforsaken key. If I remember to bring Rising Cyclone, I could have stopped myself from getting softlocked. While I'm also here, might as well get the life up. And now we have all the ingredients necessary in order to craft our tankless recipe. Rising Cyclone! AKA, we have officially got no more worries. Except for me going back into the thing. But skip over that. We go back in. We head back into Planetoid. We head back to Stranja to show you the power of Rising Cyclone. It's a sort of double jump. I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of Tornado Hold, Tango Man's weapon in Mega Man 8. But this Tornado Hold shaped weapon is our key to stronger. And literally any other instance of in a minute. But first, we continue into the depths of Stranja to continue and fight air, as we normally would. Nor MA06 air. Now, nice little bit of hint there. Because, I'm just gonna anchor Nexus this. And apart from that, I mean, she's basically the same exact thing as a casual playthrough, provided you don't bring the tank with you. And now we get a Drill Smasher, which we're not using, and Planetoid Map E3. So now that key I mentioned. Okay, Stellar Spark can't break it. Regular Blaster can't. Anchor Nexus can't do anything. Wait a minute. Rising Cyclone can! You gotta wait a bit on the recharge though, but better than using the godforsaken tank in a mode where you're encouraged to not use the tank. But yeah, it's entirely possible to beat this game tankless. And I never knew it. Though there is a bit of a thing I want to mention. If you leave your tank somewhere in the depths and try and make your way back to the top as Copen, you can softlock yourself if you're not careful. Because there's no fast travel and there's no checkpoints. But apart from that, I mean, it's pretty much the exact same as... From here on out, everything else is going to be just as planned. Just... In order to make this journey possible, all you need to do is just do a little backtrack. So now we can get everything in Planet Stranja and beyond. I could have entered the dungeon and exited, and it would spawn the tank. It feels so satisfying to destroy these things finally. And now in order to actually destroy this... Now we're possible. Now there's a possibility of us doing the. I like to call it the Rising Cyclone's Super Bullet Dash. Apart from that, I mean, the rest of the stuff I need to get is actually just this way. You go in here? So we go in here to get the repulsion up, huh? Yeah, the repulsion upper. A weapon we don't. A weapon we are immediately going to throw in the trash because, well, we don't need it. Repulsion upper requires a tank to use it. We don't have a driver's license, so we can't use it. So there's a specific order to doing things, and there's a reason for that, and that's what I already explained. Because if you go down to the depths here, because I did the mistake of going here to get the repulsion upper. So before you go and get the repulsion upper, decide to tell yourself, wait a minute, I should probably go back to the... Wait, can I actually... Oh, and on top of that, you can also use drill platforms. You can also activate drill switches using the Rising Cyclone. Now, in order to get out of here initially, that's everything in this area. Summon in the tank. Don't know why the tank into the dungeon. Is that just the sort of thing they do for soft lock picking? Like, their solution to the... I like to call it the strongest soft lock. And now we have a shortcut. Something that Sophia can't even do. and get a new discovery in Area C. The only real thing is this fight takes a long time. Server boss. Takes a long time playing as, Copen. Alright. We have our mags, things anyway, so... Get back in the thing. So now we're completely done with Area E. Just double check. Yep, everything in Area E. We're gonna leave. Do this planetoid C4, which I couldn't do before because of the fact of the... SP up. Grab that. Wait, it's an SP up. That only really applies to the tank, doesn't it? So SP ups are completely useless!
Yeah.
Because Copen doesn't use SP. Apparently. Well, he does. He just doesn't use sub-weapon. Now we get the Shroud Spear. And we're gonna go to Planet Divido. The first half of Planet Divido, at least. In which we immediately can't do anything here. Or so it seems. We've got to make our way through a labyrinth, but first... Dungeon. Dungeon 1. This is how we're going to be getting our map for the area. If I'm not mistaken. And also the first example of... Yeah, you can just completely skip most of the challenges in this planet by using Copen's dash functionality. I'm gonna switch back to the Stellar Spark just to make things easier for myself. There's nothing here. But there is something this way, which I shall get on the way back, because there's one thing that we're doing here. And that's going to find Tesset. So you find her, gives you the access key to from between area D and area F2, which we're gonna need if we're gonna complete this 100%. And if we're gonna access the other part of Planet Divido, the glacial side. Hey. The weather outside be like.
Oh.
You know, it's so freaking hot.
Yes, I know.
Right, but we got a planetoid map in D3, not D3, planetoid map F1, located in planetoid F1, how original. Alright, so now we get out of here. We're gonna access the planetoid F1. And we're gonna do a bit of a speedrun strat. I say a bit. Because it doesn't really save much in terms of time. But it does allow us to, access the other door on this side. Alright, so we move on to this. Alright. So now we're done with this area. One more bit I need to look at. And hey, there's a practical use for a little rising cyclone. Can't really do anything there. possibilities of this thing are astounding. Like, it is prime vertical speedrunning material. Like, it is perfect for speedrunning in vertical environments. So now we gotta move our way back down to from area F again. Which we gotta backtrack to area A later to get one last item, but first we're making a stop by area D. And immediately getting intercepted by none other than the Nomad Berserker. Garuda. Yeah, you can just literally unlimited stuff. Like, you can literally just constantly use the what's it? You can just keep using Rising Cyclone and have Garuda in a stun lock. So I'm gonna immediately head to Planetoid D3 because I like how they purposely made a bamboo platform so you can't just cheese it. Now we have the Rebel Buster, which, once again, I'm not even going to be using, because... well, it's a tank. It's a tank upgrade. I can't use tank upgrades because, you know... Alright, so now that I've got that, that should be everything in this area. Gotta remember, I hated this planet because it's literally just one massive circle with literally one checkpoint beforehand. Planetoid D1 is the freeway, in which I'm gonna immediately go and do the easiest of the three, which is literally just one enemy. Is one enemy without the tank. It's not that big of a deal. Gonna immediately head this way and I'm gonna deal with all this stuff. deal with them. Wow, I finished off the thing and I landed right on the planetoid map. I guess it's the rest of the planetoid maps. But first we gotta deal with Octobibby.
Is this the first or second one?
Hexabibby's the one that gives you the Hexa missiles.
You know what I mean by first or second one?
This is the first fight against that Octobibby. The second one isn't until Area Omega.
Yeah, no. I don't know where you are at the moment.
Area D. I'm on my way to go fight I guess fight Leibniz, then Atom, moving on to then following on to move on to, you know, the rest of the thing. There's a couple planetoids here, and I'm gonna go for the next one, which is D2, which is the... which we immediately get the first key, and before I forget, there's a life up. Don't want to forget. Second key gives me the save point. In which we then have to fight Noma Berserker Leibniz. And Leibniz is down. Really easy. I get idle trigger. And now we move on to the last planetoid of... There's nothing on the bottom path, so... now that I've got that out of the way, we move on to F2, where we go and do the usual campaign stuff. Oh, first, before I do anything else, we have a life up to get. I believe it's our second to last one. Gonna retry, just see if I'm actually right. I think it's my second to last one. Ah, the joys of of Copen's Dash. You can just skip all these puzzles. boosts life up. That's the path to... what's it? The only thing that Copen doesn't have is a substitute for the burn spark that actually melts through the ice, so for him the ice is basically the exact same as the sand. But apart from that, I've got all the planetoid maps and all the I'm gonna call them rock locks. The rock locks are all dealt with. Our next target's a dungeon this way, but I'll get that on the way out. Can't do anything there yet. But first we got a boss fight. Adam. I love how I just randomly flew about. I get the full Axle Burst, which I'm not using, and the Photon Detonator. Our final key to this tankless endeavor. And of course, like every other thing with Copen, can be absolutely cheese using dash. I believe I'm coming up to getting the last of the top-down like sub-weapons. Like, the last thing I need to get in the top-down sections is the Muse's Kiss. Which is basically just a charged attack. And I landed right on top of the Muse's Kiss. How about that? Now the last thing I need to get is actually on this path right here. Meaning I can actually get it casually. Within theory. Wait. And the last thing I need is actually down here. And the last thing I need is, to beat, Dig Roller. I can just skip this puzzle as Copen. A dimensional glutton. Dickrolla. The last thing I need to do with this guy. He didn't even get around to using his, mouth laser. And that's the last thing I need. In this area, if I'm not mistaken, if I just check the map. That's everything. Don't know what the hell I was trying to do then. I just was experimenting. And from the looks of it, I actually have every single life up. Victory. Literally the last few planetoids I need to discover are Area A and Area F2. One last backtrack. The EX saver. The EX saver. Backtrack to Area F2 in order to... So now we come to the biggest skip in the game, SP up. The final SP up for the tank. Now we're just gonna check to see if we have everything in the game. Everything in Divido. Well, second half of Divido and F2. Everything here. All the Flosant items, all the Area A items. All the Area B items. Area C has collected everything. I already checked Stranja, I have everything. F1 and Divido. We move on to Area G, the final area in the game. In which we go and fight Garuda again. Except this time now we have... You know... We have the power of photon detonator. Yeah, photon detonator wrecks this. Wait. I like how I can just constantly do that and just wreck her. The weakness of the Garuda is a giant cyclone. I'm on Area G. You're right, Jesus Christ. I'm on Area G. Jesus Christ.
I'll explain the whole reason I'm going for Jesus Christ once you're done with that.
Now we got onto the boss rush.
Hold on.
I landed on his leg. Xavier had one is dead. Photon detonator. Makes me wonder how much this does. Not too much. For God's sake. God, 1 minute. Alright. I'll edit out the time it took between the things in post processing. But yeah, just proof that I can actually beat this, I guess. Here we go. Now I just need to do the last bit with Zavira. Oh. At least this playthrough is actually quicker than my initial Copen DLC stream. The way I just landed on it, or nearby it. Planetoid map G3. Now I gotta do the refights of the top-down bosses. In which there's one boss I'm not gonna be fighting fighting until later, which is Dig Roller. And might, dead. Oh hey, unknown cell 46. Didn't even need to use Muse's Pulse. We got the planet map for Planetoid. Hmm? And Planet G's dead quicker than I expected. Now we got to fight against Copen. In which he's already dead.
Oh, you're already at the end. What the bloody hell?
Yeah. Trying to remember the exact path you need to take in order to actually... I'm doing the optional refight against Dig Roller. I say optional because it's required in the main campaign, but you can completely skip it as Copen and Empress. Gonna wait for it to use the laser attack. Laser attack, yep, meet Muse's Kiss. And then we get... I sense a crossover happening. I like that though. Andrea is just completely destroyed. So my personal headcanon is... this takes place... My personal headcanon is it takes place during the exact same... during the events of BMZ3. Copen goes through this, gets the broken blaster rifle, which then leads into X2. Then the Jason DLC happens after X2, or sometime during X2, which coincides with near the end of BMZ 3, or the end of BMZ 3. Alright. I love just using... What's it? Seriously. Photon Danny was way too good of an ability to give. Now, this is not a speedrun in any sense of the word. So now we fight a mutant cocoon Droll Revo. And now he's gonna enter second phase. I don't know the exact significance of, maybe Droll Revo got bored, became Droll Revo Master just to get it over with.
opted to do it the quicker way. Good idea.
I wanted to get that. At the end. And that was a proof of concept of a tankless run. A tankless 100% run of DMZ2 as Copen.